Hello, boys and girls. This is Miss K, and I want to read to you a book that I found at Erickson, and I love it. I absolutely love this book. This book is called Ellington Was Not a Street, um, and it's about Harlem, New York, which was an area that years ago there were a lot of musicians and poets and story writers that were black or African American, and a lot of them were in that area because there were a lot of places that they were not welcome. So this is a poem that somebody brought to life, so I want to share it with you. Okay? Again, it's called Ellington Was Not a Street. And if you notice, there's a young lady here. She's a little girl and she's sitting at a piano and she's holding something that we don't really see too often anymore. It's an album. It's a record. Nowadays we download our music online. There was a time when we had record players and we had 45s and albums, and so that was a really interesting picture to see. It's interesting how times change. It hasn't always been this way. Ellington was not a street. So can you see that? That street is called Ellington, and it was named after a famous musician called Duke Ellington. Robeson, no mere memory. And Mr. Robeson was a famous actor and activist, which means that he fought for a lot of different rights, human rights, and rights for black people. Du Bois walked up my father's stairs. And W.E.B. Du Bois, I always struggle with his name. He was another famous man in our history. Hummed some tune over me, sleeping in the company of men who changed the world. It wasn't always like this. Why Ray Barretto used to be a sideman and Dizzy's hair was not always gray. So Dizzy Gillespie was the famous musician whose cheeks got really, really big when he would play the trombone or the trumpet. I'm not sure which one. I remember I was there. I listened in the company of men. I remember sneaking and listening to my mommy talk to her friends when I was little. It always seemed to be the best conversations that I should not have been listening to. Politics as necessary as collards, music, even in our dreams. It's such a beautiful book. Such a beautiful book. Our house was filled with all kind of folks. Our windows were not cement or steel. Our doors opened like our daddy's arms held us safe and loved. Children growing in the company of men, old southern men and young slick ones. Sonny Till was not a boy, The Clovers, no ragtag orphans, our crooners. We belong to a whole world. Have you ever heard the word crooners before? That's when somebody can really sing, usually nice love songs. They call them a crooner. Nkrumah was no foreigner. Virgil Akins was not the only fighter. Wow. Look at all those people crowded around that couch. It's a lot of people, men and women. It hasn't always been this way. Ellington was not a street. And that is a picture of Duke Ellington, which was a famous jazz musician years ago, way before Miss K was even born. And here's a lot of the pictures of the people that are mentioned in the book. We won't go through all that. That's a lot to read. But that's a lot of history. That was called Ellington Was Not a Street. Thank you. It was fun reading with you guys. Bye.